Senator Tedisco.
Yeah, would the gentlelady yield for a few questions?
Senator Krueger, will you yield?
Certainly.
The senator yields.
Oh, that's true. Did he say gentleman?
Gentlelady.
Oh, gentlelady. Excuse me. I would have answered either way, actually, Madam President.
Thank you. Senator, by way of transparency, I know all of us know, but I know the viewers and the taxpayers and the people we take an oath of office to might want to understand exactly what the Constitution says about any bill.
Senator Tedisco, are you on the bill or are you asking the sponsor a question?
No, I asked you if she'd yield for a question.
But are you on the bill explaining?
That's what I asked you, if I could ask her a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Senator Krueger, I know you're familiar, and all of our colleagues here are, but in terms of the taxpayers watching and those who we take an oath of office to, could you explain what the Constitution says about any bill that comes to our desk, including hovering around a $220 billion budget bill? What does the Constitution say should happen when the bill gets on our desk?
We don't put them on our desk anymore. We put them through the iPad or through the LRS system, but the same point, that bills are supposed to age for 3 days before they're voted upon, unless there is a message of necessity from the governor.
Would the senator yield?
The sponsor yield?
Yes.
The sponsor yields.
So, I understand this is an extender to pay the state workers, so we know what that value is to us. We know they have to come to work. We know the service they provide. So you're probably going to get a lot of votes for us. What we don't know is the content of this budget, hovering around $220 billion. Could you explain why it's responsible to vote for that when we don't have those at least 2 days, 1.5 days, 12 hours, maybe 8 hours, maybe 3 hours? How about 15 minutes? Could you explain that to us, how responsible that might or might not be for the taxpayers we represent, for my vote and for the voters on this side, and your colleagues on your side?
Senator, through you, Madam President, I completely empathize because I have stood where you stood and used the exact same argument. I would prefer that we did not have messages of necessity on budget bills. I would prefer that we did have the chance to review them. I will point out to my colleagues that they have both the governor's original executive budget, they have both the one-house budget from the Senate, the one-house budget from the Assembly, so they understand, or they can, the parameters of the debate that is taking place right now between the two houses and the governor. But you're right, they don't have bill language of the very specifics of what will be narrowed down, hopefully very quickly, and turned into budget legislation.
Senator yield for another question.
Does the senator yield?
Did you say I was right?
Does the senator?
Okay. What would the damage be of giving us the bills on Thursday and waiting the 3 days for us to read it?
So it's a great question. When does a late budget become a problem? My understanding is that there are school districts that have their local school board votes as early as the week after, 12th. So I actually think some of the harm is if we don't get the budget done in time for the school districts to know exactly what their education funding is going to be when they are bringing their new budgets to people.
Would the senator yield?
Does the sponsor yield?
Well,
Yes.
by my count,
Sponsor
let's
yields.
see, if we give it to us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 3 days. There's no school budgets within 3 days after Thursday. That wouldn't impact it at all. So what would the problem be? For Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then have a knowledgeable vote on that budget.
If we put out a budget, they still need to translate what did that mean for their district, and if they need to reduce what they were projecting for their voters or increase, as the case may be, that they would really need more than a few minutes to deal with that. So I actually think we're cutting it pretty close as is, and I would prefer not to have to cut it any closer.
Would the senator yield for another question?
Does the senator yield?
Yes.
Senator yields.
How many school board votes will there be on the 12th of this? Did you say the 12th?
12? Do we know how? We believe over 600.
Would the senator yield?
So Senator yield?
Yes.
Senator yields.
Do you have any knowledge of whether there'll be anything done to help with the gas tax or any situation with the paying at the pump or with bail, the cash bail, criminal justice? Any inkling of a little bit of information about those two important concepts that we're concerned about when it's the highest inflation in 40 years of our constituents?
I believe that both of those issues have been under discussion and are still under discussion.
Madam President. Thank you, Senator.